What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dore back again with the best review show ever. I hope everyone's fit and well. And yes, I hope everyone is jolly as Des Oldham as yesterday. If you can't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And comment below, people. How is everyone feeling? I'm feeling $100 million, $1 billion after Forest beat Manchester United 3-2 at Old Trafford after, is it 30 years now? 30 years. Please do hit the like button if you can. Right, let's get the panel in. Let's get the Welsh wizard, Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Oh, bouncing, Ben. Been bouncing for the last 24 hours.
Oh, days. Loving it.
It's all going to come out of me now. It is 30 years of anguish.
Oh, days. And next up, I don't know if people saw the vlog. People, make sure you do watch the vlog. I'm so happy. This guy was, he said he wasn't tipsy, but he was. He's lying. So if you saw the vlog, if you watch Des Oldham's Instagram or whatever social media he's on, go and watch him and see if he was high as a kite yesterday, drinking wise, not drugs, smoke, drink wise. Des, tell everyone how bonkers was you just before the game?
I was just looking forward to it. I knew
No,
he was going to win.
You liar.
Right,
Ian,
I was enjoying the day in Manchester. I wasn't tipsy.
Ian, if Ian Warren's watching or Glenn, can you comment below what was Des like yesterday? Even Glenn was a bit high yesterday, to be fair. But
we had a pint, that's it.
How many did you have?
Really looking forward to the game.
How many pints did you have?
For the first time
Des,
in 30 years.
Answer my question. How many pints did you have?
All day?
When you got to Manchester?
3.
How many did you have Friday night?
Oh, that's more than exactly. Friday night.
Exactly. So Des Oldham went out Friday night because Glenn told me, he went out Friday night with his due daily party, 4 hours sleep, did his due daily run. What?
About 2.5. We got the half 6 straight.
So Des, I think he's calmed down a little bit, but so I think wait, here he is. Wait.
Just to clarify things.
Wait. No, let's clarify this. He's perfectly sober when he got home at 1 a.m. So that's from K. That's confirmation from K.
That's where tiredness gets me. Honestly, that's how I go a bit delirious. So I was on it yesterday, I admit.
Oh, days. Right. So
you were up early, Des, to be fair. You posted a really early picture in the train station. I was like, wow.
Steve, I got into bed. I didn't get into bed. I slept on the sofa from 3 till 5:45.
Christ.
So I mean, listen, Des got so much motivation of doing what he does, but like, I can't do what he does.
A Christmas party in Forest, and we always beat Man U.
That's the best one. But let's go through the chat for. He was late. This guy was late because he was doing what he was doing. I think he was putting his makeup on or whatever he was doing and all that. So, but yeah. Good evening, Mr. Dore, Des and Steve. Hope you're well. I'm so happy we beat Manchester United yesterday. Including a draw and sit ground while watching and listening. Well done, Eve. Well done. KT, good evening. Best win, especially in my house. Yes, I know. I know your husband. He's a Manchester United fan, KT. So make sure you and Jackson just still rub it in because I'm still texting all my Man U fans and they're crying like little girls. No offense to women out there. Razdaz, evening all. About time we're free to win in our favorite fantastic win. Bring on Villa. Come on, you Raz. Shout out to Razdaz. Make sure everyone subscribes to Raz as well. He did a great video yesterday. I was watching it on the way back as well from Manchester. So shout out to Raz as well. Morning, lads. Great win yesterday. Come on, you Raz. Justin, absolutely legend. Make sure everyone who wants to be a member as well. Kieran as well has been a member to my channel for 35 months. That's like, bloody hell, that's nearly 2.5 years. Bloody hell. Shout out to Kieran.
That's pre-Cooper.
That's pre-Cooper. Or don't mention that guy. Yeah. Don't mention Cooper's name because people get rattled when I mention his name. As well, we've seen Kane's name on. I'm at the game, but yeah, I've seen your message, Eve. We'll make sure we'll meet you before the game. Kieran says, as soon as I watched Des' review, I was effing smashed. See? Kieran, when I seen, I was on the coach of Manchester, and Stephen, did you see Des's review after the game? Did you see?
Yeah.
It? Right.
Yeah.
What was his mood like? Was he a bit tipsy?
Yeah, but I understood every word, so that's a start.
See, Des, that's how it is, Des. You can't.
Use subtitles. So.
Colin, good win. And is Alan following Forest One in Europe in May? We can dream. Alan, I don't want to rub it in. We're above you, mate. Just thought I'd tell you that. But hopefully, by the time of May, Forest Fulham will be in Europe, and by the time next year, next year, I'll be in Lithuania and you'll be in Kazakhstan, FaceTiming each other in Europe. So. But yeah, shout out to Alan as well and his son as well. Right, let's talk about yesterday's game. Buzzing 3-2 win. Let me get Des's thoughts about it because I've not had Des for a while. But Des, how are you feeling about yesterday's game win, man?
Oh, absolutely buzzing. As we've picked the bones out, I was buzzing before the game. You know, it's the games we look forward to, isn't it? We've had quite a lot recently. We've had a tough run. So I kind of talked myself into being a bit worried earlier in the week. Not worried in terms of being negative. Just we've not been playing well, to be fair, like, to be honest. And it's easy to say that we've had hard teams, but we've still not approached these games, in my opinion, in the right manner. And we approached yesterday, we come out the blocks, you know, took it to them, got that opportunity, of course, and got in front. And goals change football matches, as it proves. I look back to the Leicester game, and in many ways, that performance yesterday mirrored what we did at Leicester. You know, we took the lead and we dropped off a little bit, trying to probably be a little bit too defensive. And then when we come out second half, we took it back to them. And Gibbs White was inspired for 15 minutes. And I said it on my own sort of little rap, that Gibbs White was inspired, and that was the class we needed, because when you looked around the football pitch yesterday, despite their directness and the fact they did look strong, particularly in the second half of the first half, you know, it looked like they might go on and sort of take us to the cleaners. We had to hang in there a bit, but after that, they just blew out. You know, they just ran out of steam, and we did our pragmatic job of picking up pieces and things. And what's nice to see is us capitalising on other teams' mistakes for once. Do you know, the goalkeeper? I said it. What might make people think I was a bit tipsy in my wrap-up was
there it is. He said it all.
I called him crap, because he is crap. You know, he's terrible. And you've seen it from Fernandes. He gave the ball away. And what Forest did, rather than be absolutely exhilarating in their own play, we're getting Premier League savvy. And that's what I've been talking about for 3 or 4 years. You know, we're starting to pick off some of these mistakes, you know, get at teams when they're not on top of their game. And that was the case. Look, going to Old Trafford, you're never going to dominate the football. They're always going to get the crowd. I moaned about the referee yesterday. You know, he gave them absolutely everything. Anything that was 30-70, they got. You know, and that was frustrating. Fernandes was whinging and moaning about everything.
Oh, as always.
So you have to battle everything, and of course the weather, the conditions weren't fantastic either. Always rains in Manchester.
Always rains in Manchester.
But all those things, sort of, when you wrap them up together, you know, we've just gone there and done a thoroughly professional job, got our own season back into some sort of positive space, because it was just, whatever anyone says, and I wasn't trying to be negative, it was just sort of, the losses was massively starting to outweigh the wins, and if we'd have lost this one and going into the next few fixtures, which are going to be tough, probably equally, if not more tough than yesterday, because of league positions and the types of teams we're playing. You know, of course, they'll come good at some point, and they'll probably get to 6 or wherever they're going to finish. But what we can look at is what we did yesterday, our performance. You know, that it's always going to be pragmatic. But I happened to see Match of the Day, bits of Match of the Day on the coach on the way back, and I didn't realise. I remembered the chances when I watched them again, but I didn't realise how many chances we created at the end of the first half when we was actually under a lot of pressure. And that's classic Forest, classic Nuno, isn't it? You know, that's why we've got players like Jota and Hudson-Odoi and Elanga and sort of Gibbs White buzzing around in that midfield place. And Anderson now, I thought Anderson was absolutely brilliant yesterday. You know, really sort of got amongst the weak midfield, and that's what got us the points. So again, just absolutely buzzing. You know, we keep saying it's 30 years since Collymore did what he did, and that's a long time to sort of stick around and wait for this to happen. I remember that game. I didn't go, But I remember it as a teenager. I put on my own social media today. I was doing my paper round, listening to it on the radio, and I was just
Paper
trying to
round.
sort of imagine back to I was running down the street cheering when Collingwood scored, but I was trying to remember like I could have never imagined, it being 30 years to see something like that. And for as much as you think about Man City and Arsenal and even Liverpool to some extent, there's a massive rivalry with us. But as a pure football fan, the hardest place it's always been to go and win a football match through our generation is Old Trafford. I've seen us go in front there and get taken to the cleaners.
I've
1-0
been there
up
7
after
times.
4 minutes
7
and get beat
times.
4-1, 5-0, all sorts of score lines. And yesterday it was just a bit of a, yes, it's happened. We beat Liverpool and Man U in the same season. We don't. We'll beat City and Arsenal next year.
Oh, days. And people, I don't know if people know in the chat, it's the first time we beat Liverpool and Man U in the same season as well. So I don't know if no one knows that, but now you do know. Well, Steve, like I said, 30 years, we beat Man U. How are you feeling about it? And was you happy with the team?
Ben, this is the game.
He wanted to come on, people. He wanted to come on. That's why I got him on.
Yes, you knew Surrey Ben, I went to go on, yeah. And any Man United fan watching, can I just say, put it out there, there's no shame losing to a top 6 club, right? Just remember that, right? So I'll just say that. But regarding the game, I thought, yes, it wasn't perfect by any means. Like Des touched on, we did slack a little bit, and I think we did let him back in. And I got to say, one turning point in the game is, even though I think he's overrated, they took Fernandes off, which was a bit baffling to me, because I felt Fernandes was the only one who was creating anything with him, and he was the only one who was worrying me throughout that game. So that was a bit of a turning point as well. But overall, it was just, from Anderson to Milenkovic to the wing backs to, again, man for man, our midfield was better. In fact, I think going by recent games, I would have been more worried if they may have started Ericsson or Casemiro, because Ericsson, when he plays against us, for some reason, just dictates the game, and I just felt they would.
He always dictates the game against us.
Yeah, he does, didn't he? I think he got the late winner, didn't he? Was it the FA Cup as well?
Yeah.
Last season, yeah. So that for me, when I seen the midfield, I thought, we could get something here. Because like Des touched on Anderson, we'll get to individuals later, but Anderson was outstanding. What a performance. But yeah, Ben was just brilliant with it, and it was great to see us rattling them. He didn't have to take right years to do much yesterday. Jota was rattling them as well. Some of the Man United players were like looking around going, what, you should show us more respect, you, in Man United. I like the way we showed a bit more aggression yesterday than we did against Arsenal and City. I felt we looked a bit starstruck and a bit, when we went to their grounds, we just backed off and felt a bit, this is Arsenal, Man City, we can't. But yesterday we showed, bang, we got stuck in. It was just brilliant to watch, wasn't it? It was just, and when the header went in from Wood, it was all in slow motion, because you boys there watching live, but from watching on TV.
It was slow motion.
It was up in the sky for about 5 minutes.
I know, and I guarantee someone will put the Titanic song to that goal, right? Because it was so slow motion, wasn't it?
Are you trying to hit Stephen? Stephen, do you want me to do it as a content creator? Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go on, you do it. I'll do it. And Martinez on the back stick. Well, what is he doing? I mean, if that was one of our players at the other end, we'd be crucifying him. And if that was Sells, what Onana was doing, we'd crucify him. What was he doing at the end as well? He was time wasting as well, his own team. And they were
laughing, Steve, from our angle.
I don't know how we came across live, but on TV, I'm like, what is he doing? First of all, he threw the ball 10 yards past the halfway line, and I was screaming at the TV as I get that ball back, and he kept going. I was like, he's wasting his own time here. And then the free kick was terrible. They were all, and I put it down as a draw, right? But as the game went on, I thought we got them rattled, because they are not great at all. They're a poor side. I know they got a new manager and so on, but I mean, Des, you think they'll come good. I honestly think they're just a mid-table team at the moment.
You know what?
They are.
I will talk about that today, because no, yeah. Let me talk about that because
Yeah.
when watching Man U content creators talk about it, then I think in my mind we can let's talk about that later on.
Can I just say quickly though, what compared to two teams yesterday? They touched it on match of the day. We run more than them yesterday, and we wanted it more, and that was the key. If you watch that last goal, the way Anderson and Jota fought for that ball, and then the ball went out wide to Gibbs White, that showed the determination and the desire of the players who we just wanted it more than them, full stop. And that's what got us over the line as well. And I think the guy they took off, that's Fernandez. He was the only one who wanted it. And when they took him off, I was like, God, what a downgrade that is, bringing that Derby reject on. It was just like baffling.
Yeah,
So it
I
couldn't go.
agree, Steve, but they will get to sixth in the table as much as we don't discredit them and don't think they're very good. And they're not. They were poor, but they will get there because it's Man United and they'll get it right.
This season?
Yeah,
I don't think for this season.
They'll finish in the top 6, 7, 8. They won't finish where they are. Look, they've got quality and
they've got quality, Dad. They've got quality.
If they put us to bed, goals change football matches. If Anana, and I don't want to be negative because look, it's not about Man United. It's about Forest taking the chances. But if Anana saves both of those goals, they've got a head of steam up and they leave Fernandez on. It's a completely different game. And what Forest are good at now is we're not that easily beatable team. So Man U will struggle more against us. But you're seeing they dispatched Everton, quite comfortably. And there's still, what I'm getting to here, there's 10 teams who are probably not as good as Forest right now. So they'll still pick up plenty of points, plenty of own wins, and get themselves into. They're only not that they're only. It's quite a big gap, and we're more than happy. But they're 6 points behind Forest, and it's been a disaster. So they'll get there, and I think us as fans have to take credit from that, not just completely dismiss what they are, what they're not. Ultimately they've got some good players. Fernandez, Garnacho,
Garnacho, no, Des, no, sorry, no.
No, but they are. Some of them are not. Some of them are past it now. Some of them are moving on. The new managers come in and they're working on that. We've seen how that works last season.
Yeah.
No, it took Nuno a lot of time. But just by completely dissing Man United, you're taking something away from Forest in this performance because Forest are actually a really tough side to beat. You talk about the goalkeeper and the back four. Do you know what changed the game for Forest? Not changed it, but what ensured we won it was, and what basically forced them to take Fernandez off was when Nuno changed it to a back three. Because they did have a bit of a head of steam. Fernandez had got his goal. He made that change to a back three, and all of a sudden they couldn't get near us. Fernandez just drifted out the game because there wasn't the space, there wasn't the availability. But the only reason we can make that change is because we got them 2 goals, and then we conceded one still, and we was on the back foot. So he made the change. We're going to try and see this out. And when Forest, what's really good about Forest right now, and when we're playing these big teams, like Liverpool and Chelsea, and when we get in front or we're level in the dying stages, is we can make proper tactical substitutions. That's where teams like United, for all their abilities, look, then they can't replace like for like. And we're replacing players that are in some sort of form. I said to you before, collectively we're out of form. As a team, we had been till yesterday. We wasn't playing particularly well. But individuals, when you start breaking it down, individuals over the season have been brilliant. So Dominguez for Yates or Anderson or whoever he comes on for is not really a downgrade. This is what I was moaning about the first couple of seasons. We haven't got players to come in. And this is where Forest have just become. I was looking at the league table today and Man U were 13th. And I looked who was below that. I absolutely believe, and I would bet with anyone, Forest will not finish below 13th. I still think they could finish 13th. I don't think they will, but they will definitely not finish below 13th. When you look at the sides, you look at the ability. There's a couple of teams in behind is Brentford, Fulham, who we could still finish above and
Yeah.
finish 9th, 10th, 11th in the Premier League. But I just think teams like that over the season will get there. But I think by sort of discrediting everything about them, it takes a little bit of something away from us. And you just got to think, we went there and now we do a job on these teams. We do a job. You're not going to go there and play them off the pitch. They're going to have a slightly off performance. That's football. We have off performances and teams beat us, like Fulham at home and games like that. So I just think, do you know what? Let's take some credit for once as Forest.
Yeah.
And go, do you know what? We're a bloody good side. I was talking in a group with you guys earlier in the week, and I think I got the impression everyone thought I was being negative. I said this run could quickly turn into a bad run. But
You did say
frustration.
you did. I remember you did say we'll beat Man U.
Yeah, but
You did say that. You did say that. Yeah.
I said I feel we've got a chance in this one, and what I was worried about was we'd go there and give them too much respect. When we conceded the first goal, we gave them so much respect, and they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it because they're nothing special. Despite all that I just said, they'll get to where they need to be in their own time. But we don't have to respect them because we're getting good results against good teams, and it shows when we take a foot off the gas, we're not up to it ourselves. So the Premier League's tough. The Premier League leaves there's no room for passengers. We've seen that with the teams that are down at the bottom over the last couple of years. They're just going to drift away and struggle. Teams like Luton and Burnley and now Ipswich and Southampton. It's a really hard thing to master, but being able to go to teams like that, playing them on their pitch and coming out on top, whichever way it takes. I don't care if Man U was absolutely brilliant yesterday. I just know they're lacking a bit of spine, a little bit of character, a little bit of leadership, and they've got a new manager now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we played them at the wrong time. I'm not saying I want them to do well, but I can see there'll be a time in the season where they do sort of creep up, and I'd still say, and I'd love to be wrong, they'll finish above Forest, won't they? I think we kind of sort of agree with. Well, I don't know. If you don't, you don't. But I just
People
think
right.
realistically,
Let's put in the chat. People in the chat, do you think Man U will finish above Forest this season?
Just to finish that though, Dore, do you know why I thought we had a massive chance today? Steve touched on the point, and if you think a little bit deeper into this, over the last couple of years, the players that have hurt us for Man United, Eriksen, Rashford,
yes,
right, Rashford on the wing. Ten Hag played straight into our hands when he came in. He played Rashford down the middle. The first 3 or 4 times we played United, they beat us to 0, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and Rashford scored within the first 10, 15 minutes on every occasion. Ten Hag comes in, puts him straight down the middle, and this is the problem with changing managers. That's another subject. But this is where Almiron, or whatever his name is, probably doesn't see that yet, and this is why they look so disjointed. What all Forest can do is capitalise on that, because we've got now the players to actually go toe-to-toe with whoever they put on the pitch, and face up to what they're doing.
I'm just going through the comments as well. Evening, Ben and Co. Great to meet you a couple of weeks ago on Trump after Meadows. Oh yes, I think I know a good win against bottom half side. Yes, I remember you, Scott. I speak about me and some other bellend. Don't ever do that again, Scott. You know who I'm talking about. But yeah, no comment on that one. But yeah, it's good to see you, Scott, as well, my friend. I personally don't think Man U will finish above Forest, because I'm trying to make it quick and quick, because right now Man U they've got good players, they've got fantastic players. It will take time for Man U to work in that system, but they played is it Yaro as well. It'll take him time to fix that system. But right now, I just don't think Man U will finish above Forest, and I'm sticking to my word for that as well. Hi Ben, hi Steve, hi Top. Hi, get sympathy. David, why Davey? You always get one in there. Hi, Davey, he's actually a legend as well, my friend, as well. Apart from fantasy football, have a good one, lad. Top lad, Davey. I couldn't believe
Davey's got every fantasy football move I ever made covered.
Oh, Davey, bloody hell, man. Nah.
I'm sure we've got the same team now. Now he's got 4 points in front.
So I can't believe Woody had sneaked in Martinez before it was going out. He did. But like I said, like we mentioned, it was going slow motion. And when that goal went in, I think Glenn accidentally punched me when we went on my shoulder. But I don't know if Glenn knows that, but you did it. It bloody hurt. Lafalao, there shall not be named. Yes, it shall not be named. But yeah, shout out to Scott, man, as well. Please do hit the like button, subscribe if you did, because we bloody won. We beat Man U. And last one from Sean. Anthony needs to play every single game. He's a game changer. And that's the person that we're going to talk to.
Can I just say one more thing to underline the Man United thing as well, just to stick the knife in a bit more. This is how far the aura on Man United have fallen, right? Is as Forest fans, how many of that squad and on heart would you take at Forest now for Man United? Because to me, for me, majority
you make
of that.
a great point, Steve, because me and Glenn did a little bit of a comparison at which players you'd pick.
Because to me,
and I think it ended up 6-5 in favour of Forest.
Really?
So again, I get your point. I get where you're going with that point.
Because if we were having this conversation 15 years ago, oh my God, it'd just be literally an all-star Man United 11. You take every single 1 to 11 player, won't you? But where they're at now as a team, man for man, yes, they may have more of the star power, but for me, there's more heart in some of our players like Anderson, like Yates, like Nico Williams, like Milenkovic, who show more heart than the people like Fernandes, like Garnacho, like Rashford. I said this to you before, Ben, didn't I? When they soaked McTominay, they soaked the heartbeat of that team. Because now I look at that on the pitch yesterday, and there was no desire, there was no heart, and I mean, I'm just so glad we upped it. And when it was 3-1, we could have gone on and really made it messy for them because we let them off the hook. There was a chance, and you could tell Onana was rattled. It was 3-1, and he. Do you remember that little missed kick and it went straight to Gibbs White, and he played Jota down the line?
Yes.
And he just got that across. It would have been a tap in for Wood or whoever's there. Like it could have gone 4-1. And I mean, if he'd gone to 4-1, I honestly think we may have ended up winning 5-1. I don't know. I just felt we were just all so on top of that moment. And I would never have thought I would have said that at Old Trafford, to be on top the way we were. And it's just how far we've come and how far they have dropped. And it's just great to see. So, yeah, that's all I want to say.
Right, we're talking about individual players because I think there's quite a few players. Like I said, I think it was a good team game, but we're going to talk about individual players. Before you do, please do hit the like button if you can. Subscribe to my channel if you want, and any super chats, or if you want to be a member, please help my channel a lot, please. Let's talk about individual players, and let's talk about Anderson. Des, do you want to start with Anderson because he was just, for me, wow.
Yeah, it was fantastic. He was Anderson, what we remember from those first 6 or 7 games he played. Obviously, he's been a little bit in and out. His fitness more than his form has been the thing there, hasn't it? You know, he's not been not been used. I was talking to Glenn before the game, and I said I think Forest got the biggest problem we had with Anderson, apart from the injury, of course, was when he played instead of Gibbs White. And he played brilliant at 10. And everyone's then going, oh, who plays number 10? And if you really know what you're talking about, Gibbs White, for what Anderson is and the fact we can utilise him elsewhere, Gibbs White goes straight back into the team at 10, like it proved when he was fit enough to play. But I think almost to his detriment, Nuno then thought, because there was carrying knocks as well, we can use one or the other in 10, so I can rest Gibbs White and I can bring Anderson on to finish. And that, for me, took a little bit away from the rest of the midfield in terms of what Forest were doing. We were losing crucial battles. Do you know, what he does, he gets the ball, and rather than, again, I don't want to pick out other people's faults, but rather than lose it or give it away quickly, he can hold on to it. He can beat a man, he can drop his shoulder, he can get it away quick, that little bit quicker when he has to the wingers. And I think what you saw again was him back in the team with Gibbs White, And I think they're brilliant when they're together. I think Forest are a completely different side because it opens up. You saw it at the start of the second half. It opens up Gibbs White's game. No matter what anyone says, Gibbs White plays so much more deeper when Anderson's not in the team, and then people get frustrated with him. I saw Gibbs White got battered after the City game. And I thought, seriously, but again, if you get into the crux of it and looking at what individuals bring to the team, I think that Anderson being in the midfield somewhere is absolutely crucial. But it might have been a case that he played so well at 10, Nuno thought, well, I'm just going to use him in 10. But obviously, he's almost second choice, and he had to spend a few weeks on the bench. I think when he comes back into the team, you get what you saw in the Liverpool game, especially. And somebody who can be versatile across the midfield as well. So he could play out wide as a sort of old inside left or right or whatever you want to call them, and play narrow in that sense. He can narrow the pitch up. He can take it wide by playing in the centre and allowing not crucial, out and out wide players in the team. But he brings a lot to Gibbs White's game, and that's what's.
Is that young man taking over from Stephen?
Yeah, sorry, I could check this one. Yeah.
But yeah, he brings so much to the team in that sense. And yesterday, he got his foot on the ball, just getting his foot on the ball and not panicking. And at places like that, for all their deficiencies, when they do get the ball, they move forward quickly, they find spaces, they get every decision. That's another reason why they'll end up doing well. But that's the last point. But he got his foot on the ball, and he found a Forest shirt. And those, when you're managing a game, and he played the whole game yesterday, I believe, didn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Anderson.
Yeah, he did play the
Yeah,
whole
he did.
game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Him and Yates in the midfield, you don't often see play a whole game, do you? And
No.
and we was winning that battle, and it didn't need changing. So you just think there's definitely, for me, he plays in for his best team every day of the week. Every single time you play him, because he just brings so much. He's got a presence. And at times since Forest have been back in the Premier League, the reality is the only player with a presence has been Gibbs White at times. Now we've got several of those. We've got centre backs.
Quick question, Des, before I get stay. All my new fans were saying Gibbs White didn't play good yesterday. What's your opinion on it?
Look, there were periods of the game where Forest was under a little bit of pressure. Last half an hour of the first half, the team didn't play very well, and then what happens is you start withdrawing, and everybody's dropping back, and he can't get his foot on the ball, and he's having to sort of try and work his way out of tight situations, sometimes through his own bad choices and speed of mind. It's not particularly brilliant, and then the last half an hour, of course, 3-2. United are probing. They weren't pressing as like they were in the first. So then Gibbs White, he actually got some not long, well, with about 10, 15 minutes to go, didn't he? So you can't judge him not on all of that. But again, Forest are under pressure, and that in a completely ideal world, and I think this is where a lot of Forest fans miss the point with Gibbs White, is he wouldn't do any defending. Odegaard. I was having a conversation with Marlowe the other day, and he was saying Odegaard cheats, and basically what he meant was he don't defend. He just finds some space up the pitch, stands there till the ball comes to him, because they've got absolute quality across their midfield. In Rice and Partey and whoever plays, they win the ball back and give it him. In an ideal world for Forest, you'd think that's what Gibbs White would. When we used to watch him for Sheffield United, he was the guy breaking into the box late. He wasn't somebody who did all his work outside the penalty area. He'd break into the box, he'd score goals, he'd be running on, he'd play off the left or off the right. So I think what we get into, and I think there's still more to come from Gibbs White, as much as I love him personally, I just think the team is developing all the time around him. You've got those wide players who, when they're on form, they're amazing. They take the attention away from Gibbs White. Whereas yesterday, for as much as Jota and Hudson-Odoi did well, they weren't fantastic, were they? Do you know, they did their jobs in a performance. What I'm talking about, a pragmatic performance. But what that does then, it doesn't allow Gibbs White to sort of impose himself because they're not being occupied by their defence, if you know what I mean. But I think having Anderson behind him, and when the wide players are on top form, and when you are in the ascendancy, which we were for that first 15 minutes of the second, I'm not saying he played out of his skin for 90 minutes, but he put in like a 15-minute cameo, and they couldn't touch him. They just couldn't touch him. Everything was coming off. Do you know, he was getting wide both sides, he was getting down the middle. Do you know, he got his shot away, and that's all you need. That's what we need. But the more Forest grow in confidence, and the more we win games like this, and we become that steadier team, and we hear the chairman, the owner, talking this week about improving in January if we can. You know, if we really sort of, I still think there's one or two issues around the midfield and how we link it in. But if you've got Gibbs White playing off Chris Wood, because the key to football in any position, the key to football is partnerships. So you've got like Andy Robertson and Salah for Liverpool, you know, or not. That's the one. No, that is the right side, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoever,
No,
you've got your winger and
Trent and
your winger and your
Salah.
fullback, you've got your two centre back. Do you know, Forest are the best example of that this season with Murillo and Milenkovic, how they work off each other. What Gibbs White's done for Forest over the time, he's been our only creative player, you know, and he still provides a lot of goals for Chris Wood and Tyro, and he did it for Johnson. Whoever he's in the team with at the time, it becomes the main focal point for the striker. Imagine if we could get him 5-10 yards closer, because that's what you want from you. I know we don't play 4-4-2 anymore, but that's what you want your number 10 to be. That was the old-fashioned way of playing. Your number 9, your number 10 knocks it down for your number 9 to poach, or vice versa. And I think if we could get him that a little bit further up the pitch, because we had confidence in Anderson and whoever, Yates has been brilliant, Dominguez has been brilliant, you know, but we, again, that little thing around the number 6 here is still not quite clicked. Do you know, if we had that real solidity behind them, you'd get even more from the two guys I've spoke there for a few minutes, Anderson and Gibbs White. And I think it's those two that are integral to what we do. And that's why we won yesterday, in my belief, because there was still other areas of the pitch where we could have been, even on the day, even forgetting all this sort of bravado and excitement, we could have been slightly better. But that's just football. That happens all the time. But those two guys were integral to what we did. And even if it was a 15-minute cameo or 90 minutes in Anderson's case, I think it was absolutely brilliant and have to play, especially in these big games.
100%. I'm just going to go through the comments before I get Steve. Scott, 6 points from the run of fixtures. We had more than most expected, so happy days. But please, Forest beat Brentford for sake. I just like them so much. That game could end with a basketball game. Yeah, they've not lost at home, have they, yet? So that game, like I said, I think I'll do a video later on through the week as well. So watch out for the video. We've got the man, the legend as well, Dave Asprey. Anson was brilliant yesterday with and without the ball. Definitely, Dave. Definitely. He was so good yesterday as well, Anson. That's why Des spoke about him so good, because he's been fantastic in that 8 role as well. We missed Danilo as well in that role, and again, he's been fantastic. I think as well, where's another comment? Another legend from America, Chris. Massive away win coming over the heels of defeats against Arsenal. Massive, you rare. Shout out to Chris. Away from America as well. And he's done a super chat as well for me. Legend. Thank you for all you do, Dore. Thank you for the $20, Chris. Actually, legend, people, if you do want to do a super chat to my channel, please do as well. I've got to talk about another player, because it's just getting better and better and better. And Steve, you've got to answer this. And people in the chat, get involved. Do you know who I'm going to talk about, Steve? Who am I going to talk about?
The big Serb.
How did you read my mind?
Yeah.
Talk to me, man, because I love Yates, man. Everyone knows I love Yates, but I'm loving it. I said on my Instagram, I love him. I love him to bits. He's like, I want, you know, if I had to pick a security card, I choose him. He does it. He just defends. He heads the ball, and that's what we miss. But come on, Steve. Talk people in the chat as well. How much do you love him? Come on, Steve.
He's literally right. He's literally, even though as you know, I was a massive fan of Scott McKenna. He's literally an upgrade on Scott McKenna, and like you said, he's an out-and-out defender, old school, heads the ball, clears it, no nonsense. Will go through someone if need be, reads the game, goes long if he has to, put in Rosette if he has to, doesn't do anything at risk, tells the team to calm down, does that a lot to the team, does that a lot to the team.
He does that. He does that.
He's like I said about Odegaard, right? That's the Arsenal game. Is that you can tell with Odegaard, he's been nurtured from a young age how to use his body to manipulate the ball and move. He just glides across the pitch, doesn't he? And that's his position. With Milenkovic, you can see from a young age, he just wants to defend. He just wants to defend, and he out and out defender, old school. I mean, we better not talk about him too much because already there's rumours that Newcastle and other teams are looking at him.
Not a chance.
£12 million, that's a snip. In this market. It's just yesterday. I mean, we'll get to our man of the match later on, but Hoyland up front yesterday can have a kick. Did he? I forgot he was even playing. He can have a kick. He didn't know whether to go short, deep, run behind. He just didn't know how to work out Milenkovic. His header for the first goal was absolutely towering. And again, it goes back to naivety of Man United. I mean, why would you put a guy half the size?
That's what I didn't understand. I didn't get it.
I mean, we've done baffling things before, Ben. Like, I recall there's been times where, even now, Dominguez is marking someone. Dominguez not very big, and he's marking someone twice his size for him. I don't get why these teams. I mean, you look at someone the size of Milenkovic, who's got to be 6'3", 6'4", maybe, and Martinez is 5. He's not very big for a defender, and the way he just bullied, and they've said on the match today as well, the way he just, and again, it goes back to the same, Ben. He wanted it more. He wanted it more than Martinez and these players around him. I don't care what Nuno says. Nuno was put on the spot when they were asked. I seen an interview where he said, "Did you analyse the Arsenal game?" And he dismissed it. No way. They totally watched that Arsenal game back and they targeted the corners because there was a few times yesterday that we swung that ball in, and you could tell they'd done their homework on them and right, let's put pressure on these corners because it was nice to see yesterday from a corner we actually put pressure on teams. And that first corner came in, I was just like, whoa. I just like, where did that come from? It was just, just a thunderbolt of an header, wasn't it? It was just like, I want to win this header. Bang. And it was just like, what a start to the game. I generally thought, though, it was going to go the same way as last year.
That's why
I go back.
Little thought.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to what I was saying about last year when they had Eriksen and Casemiro, because Casemiro scored in that game as well, and Eriksen did, the 3-2 win when they came back. I felt yesterday, or maybe without them playmakers, or, holding players, or whatever you want to call them, I feel it had a different vibe yesterday. It had a different vibe, and I know they equalised, bit of a scruffy goal. But like Des has touched on, and I'm sure you agree, Ben, I always felt we had a bit more control in the game, and through Milenkovic, that control and that leadership, because they got no leaders in their team either. And at the moment, Ben, we have leaders. We've got Milenkovic, Yates can be a leader, Gibbs White is a leader, even Chris Wood's a leader, a spine through the team. We've got a solid spine now. And we go back to the bench as well, But a guy's going under the radar, right? And I can't wait for him. I'm sure he'll have a start now against Luton. Morato came on, right? And even when he came on, next to Milenkovic, you can imagine, Hoyland up front, seeing them too. Like, it must be a brick wall in front of him because Morato strung it up as well. I mean, he was just kicking it in Rosette as well. And, I honestly think Milenkovic will be our captain next season. That's my personal opinion.
I hope.
I think he's deserving because a defender is one of the best positions to be a captain. I don't agree with you.
You know what it is, dear, and I don't. When you're at the game, the things that he does
Yeah.
It's just so different to what people see on TV. And
Well,
I know distracting people that can't go to the game. You got to see what he does. He does
yeah.
what captain does. He just tells people this, and this, and this. Do this.
I was there at the Newcastle game, as you know, Ben, just sitting behind you, and because there's a big aerial view there, isn't it? And yes, the second half we lost the game, but the first half, his control of the game, and again, it just goes back to that around him just doing that and telling the play. It was an instant yesterday when the game started getting a bit frantic and we were doing these little things where I was like, oh, I'm going to let him back in. You could see him, he was just like, calm down, telling the team, just calm down, settle, just think about it now, and just that's the leadership we need at this level now. And for 12 million quid, whoever scouted him, fair play.
I think
Because,
it was
you know,
Wilson. It was Wilson. I'm sure it was.
I know he was being scouted a few seasons back by Man United, I think, and one other team.
2019 he was.
Yeah.
Mad.
I mean,
it's mad.
Like, would you? I know you love Yates, Ben, but would you begrudge if they took the captaincy off Yates and gave it to Milinkovic?
No.
Because in fact, it might might help you.
To answer that question, like I said, I love Yates, but I'm back to the question. Like I said, with Milinkovic and the way he deals with Murillo as well, like he probably goes at him, and that's why I think Murillo's getting so much praise for more than Milinkovic. Milinkovic is getting praise, but Murillo's getting more praise than him, and that's
I wanted to say a point there, Dore. Just on that captaincy thing, who cares? Do you know who cares who's captain? It's working.
Yeah.
You know, he's a captain anyway on the pitch, so don't get bogged down when things are going well about who's the captain. That's an issue for when we're getting beat every week. Right? Don't care who's the captain. Leave it with your team.
But I know what you're trying to say, though. I know what you're trying to say, though. Like,
but you know, I wanted to make a point about Murillo. Do you know the best thing about Milinkovic is what he does for Murillo's game? But do you know the best asset that Milinkovic has got in his game is Murillo, because Milinkovic being the no-nonsense, head it, kick it, defend it, which I love. I was a defender and I love that kind of thing. I don't care if defenders can pass it particularly well or whatever, you know. But what Milinkovic allows, and I think Murillo goes under the radar this season because this is the new guy and everyone loves him and everyone wants to like him. Yeah, look, he's brilliant, absolutely phenomenal, incredible, best signing for Forest in God knows how long. I believe that, but I believe Murillo is going under the radar because he has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because what happens is Milinkovic does all that stuff, and it allows Murillo to step forward and be that modern day superstar defender who steps in, wins the ball, carries it forward, passes it down the line, takes his shots from 40 yards, gets up the pitch. And I think they complement each other so well because Milinkovic is there. Look, in previous seasons, again, I don't want to disregard what we had before, but Murillo was getting battered because he couldn't head the ball. It wasn't his strength. Because he was having to be the last man because the players around him, whether it be Bolly who couldn't run, no disrespect, he'd done a great job for Forest, but he wasn't quick and he couldn't run, or Waddle who got caught out of position at times. Murillo was that guy who was having to be the last man. By Milinkovic being the last man,
doing two jobs. You mean two jobs? He's doing two jobs.
Yeah, it's allowing Murillo to just come and be that class-looking defender, that Brazilian-type defender, you know, which is he's got the recognition in football circles. He's now in the Brazil team, and for as much as they don't defend, you've got to still be a player because they do create some. But I think this is the biggest thing about it. It's not rocket science. It's a partnership that works, and I think Murillo is actually the one getting forgot about because he has been absolutely like now the way he steps forward and like puts his arm across a player and just without fouling just slugs him off the ball and then he's running away with it, or where he used to dilly dally about as the last man and try and get it out to Aina at left back. Now he gets the ball and it's gone because he's on the front foot. He was on the back foot, but Milinkovic plays as the back foot defender. And that's just the solid base that Forest are built from now. You know, it's absolutely fantastic what they're both doing together. And again, you look at the rest of the Premier League, this question's been touted about a lot. Where do they stand in the Premier League as a partnership? I can only think of two that could compete with it, and that's Arsenal and Liverpool's. City's defenders aren't that good. Those two walk into City's team because they're all over the place. And United yesterday, they don't know what they're doing. This guy's supposed to be coming in. And you touched on Morata. I want to make a point about him as well. I genuinely think Nuno signed him to play a back three because that was Nuno's style at Wolves. It didn't work. The 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1 or whatever variation, 4-3-3 didn't work last season because we still struggled. So Nuno probably thought, I need to get the right players in a back three. Obviously, Milenkovic, Morata. And it's just unfortunate for that guy. I think he was signed as a first-team player, and he's had to sit on the bench all season. But it goes back to that point I made earlier in the feed, in the show. It just goes back to the fact that we've got absolutely class players sitting on the bench, waiting in the wings. And again, Nuno might have stumbled across this, this formation. We beat Southampton, didn't we? And he kind of kept the formation going from there. It kept with the four at the back. Morata had just come in. And I think we had that little one, so he couldn't change it. But now we realise that Milenkovic and Murillo are that good. They can play as a four with the good fullbacks we've got now and the options. Let's not forget your mate yesterday, Steve. He played well. Williams at left back.
Yes, he played well as well.
They've got players to fit the formation. But what's brilliant now is there's a plan B.
Yes.
How many years have we been moaning about not having a plan B? Whichever manager it was, whether it was Cooper or Nuno, we didn't have a plan B. There was always an argument for it. Now we've got a plan B. We can go three at the back. We can play Anderson at 8 or 10. You can play Josh in positions. And it's just phenomenal. That defence is absolutely phenomenal. You're not looking at much better in world football, than those two.
The world football. I'm loving it.
Arsenal are one of the best teams in the world at the moment because the top teams in the Premier League are, and we're not that far behind them, are we? Those two positions, there's still, don't get me wrong, they'll still have the moment, and Milenkovic and Murillo will get caught for a bit of pace. We saw that in the Arsenal game. But what a problem to have in that centre-back here. I just think, let's not forget about Murillo. That guy's performance levels, from being a naive, raw talent, he's becoming a really, really good, more than good, world-class player. Absolute world-class player. So if them big clubs were looking last season, I think we're going to be struggling to hold on to him this season. And he's probably put another 20, 30 on the numbers.
Hope so. Steve, want to say something?
No, just a quick one. I think it was I don't know if either of you have seen the after the show with Defoe and Owen Hargreaves. Have you seen that?
I've seen something, but
I think it was Defoe. I think it was Defoe who said it about Forest because he's praising him, saying about he likes watching him play. But I think he was the one who mentioned the players who we are sitting on the bench who can come on as well. I like Des touched on, even if it's like for like or can change a game. I mean, look at the bench yesterday. You had Elanga, you had Morato, you've still got Ward-Prowse, you've still got Bolly who last year and you couldn't.
Oh, you know what? I wanted Bolly to come on than Tower, to be fair. I'm not
another thing.
How nervous I was.
What fun.
Do you know what? Another player who I think, again, I know I mentioned this Luton game, this FA Cup game, but another player who will get a run out is Ramon Sosa. Yeah. Because he's another player. When he comes on, and this is the thing, Ben, this is what shows the spirit in the squad, right? When you've got a team, when you've got players coming on who are not sulking, and they're bit part players like a Sosa, like a Morato, and so on, if they give it 110% when they're coming on and not spitting the dummy out, that shows a good dressing room and a togetherness, and that is really key. And that's really good to see because it's quite easy summoning players. And don't get me wrong, there might be a player deep down thinking I deserve a spot, or he may want to, like Omar Baraderi, right? He hadn't been seen for how long? I'm sure he'd be loaned out now in January.
He'd be loaned out.
But I mean, even against Newcastle in the cup, he looked outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another one we can bring on in years to come. So it's really good sign that the squad is. Marino wasn't even in the squad yesterday. And he's been our first choice left back. So, I mean, the keeper is a separate debate. I mean, Sells is still. Yesterday, he pulled a couple of good saves off, especially when he tipped onto the bar from the free kick. The keeper is a separate debate, but I mean, in each position now, we've got strength and depth, and it's. I mean, the strike. I think the striker and the keeper is still. Maybe that is that what you're touching on, Des? There's still one or two little areas where, and the
Yeah,
midfield
I think,
maybe.
look, the keeper's done brilliant. He's saved us a lot. He's given 1 or 2 goals away, but every keeper does. That's the nature of the
Of
position.
course, yeah.
But I just think of Marinakis being Marinakis, and he wants the best. We've got a very, very good goalkeeper, or a guy that's turned into a good goalkeeper, but he wants
He's
the
solid,
best.
isn't
So
he?
I think that's one position. Look, Chris Wood has been absolutely brilliant, and I don't think it comes out. I had a conversation around Tyro. The problem with Tyro, if he don't get on the pitch and play, he's never going to be match fit. He's that type of player. He can do all the training in the world he wants, and be ready to come on. But he's never going to be ready, and he looks miles off it. But you're not going to. He tried it in one game. He's tried to play as a 2, and when Wood went away, he put him in for a game, and he looks miles off it. What you're not going to do is leave Wood out the team to get Tyro fit. So I think striker is still a problem, Steve. And I think, again, like I said, I'd like to see Ward-Prowse get back in somehow with Anderson and Gibbs White. That's very attacking, I know. But that was almost what we did against Liverpool. Try and find a way. But I say that with Ward-Prowse. I'd love him to, because we went out looking for creativity to get him in. I know in many ways it's not quite worked, and there's been a sending off, and other players have come into form, and Yates has done fantastic. So it's meant less game time for Ward-Prowse. But particularly before yesterday, when we was on a not the best run, we picked up 1 or 2 results. I was thinking there was a reason we got Ward-Prowse in. It was because of the creativity. And in games before yesterday, and even at times yesterday, we missed a little bit of that creativity. And it's that player to get the ball forward. I don't think long term Ward-Prowse is the answer, because I think you've still not got that number 6 that I've been moaning about for 2 years. And I don't think anyone who's not in the team or injured is that player, as we know, that's well documented. I just think those 3 positions, you touched on 2, and number 6, look, we've gone through the stratosphere this season with the signings. The last transfer window makes a mockery of everything that happened before with 30 players and
Yeah.
Sudani and, players
Bloody
that
hell,
we don't even
Sudani.
know.
Bloody hell.
But
Sudani.
you get those 3 in, they cost you a lot of money. They cost you at least 120 million probably to sort it out. No, sort it out's the wrong word, but to be that team. And I'm telling you, with that and what Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs White sort of developing, still relatively young players, not quite in the prime, you could be looking then at a top 4. You could be looking at a push for Champions League, but you're probably talking 5, 6, 7.
Having a
If
clip
you
there,
fill
having a
them
clip him.
positions, but I'm talking about absolute worldies in that position.
100%. Champions League football, Des, you get ahead of yourself, but I like it. I'm liking the talk.
I'm not as ahead of myself as Mr. Marinakis, so I'm going what he says.
I was going through some comments as well before we get man of the matches. Chris says Dale nails it as always. No, he does not. Murillo was always really unlucky not to score yesterday. I think more goals will come from him. I hope so. He needs another 40-yarder. Would be nice. Repeat says Williams was great. I was tracking him back and intercepting the ball. He was as well, but I've got time to talk about Williams. Well, nearly past the hour mark. So people in the chat, I'm going to ask Steve and Des, who's the man of the match yesterday, and the team rating. So people in the chat, get involved as well. Make sure you do hit the like button and subscribe if you can. And Steve, who's your man of the match and what was your team rating, my friend?
Right. It's so hard to pick between 2, and we've already touched on them. It's between Milenkovic and Anderson, but you know what? I know it's nitpicking. Is I think because we conceded 2, I'll have to lean towards Anderson.
Okay.
I just thought his work rate is tenacious. Just to get the ball, win the ball, like Des touched on earlier. Just win the ball back. Am I back? Yeah.
Yeah, back.
Yeah, my phone fell up. Yeah, it's just his engine was unreal yesterday. Unreal. And that's really harsh on Milenkovic because he scored as well. But so it's really tough. I'll have to give it to Anderson. And the team rating. It's a common trend in it with Forest at the moment. We tend to have like a 20-minute spell before half time where we kind of drift off, don't we, a bit. We kind of go in our shell a bit. So I think take both halves. I'd probably give it a solid 8.
Okay, solid 8. Okay. Let me go for Des. My man of the match was, I've got to say Anderson. Anderson for me as well. He's top class. Rating, I'll say 8 as well. Yeah, 8. I'm gonna stay with Steve. 8 as well. 8. Before we Des, 1 minute, Des. We've got Kel says Milenkovic. Justin says Milenkovic as well. Davey says Anderson 8.10. Justin says 9.10 as well. Des, what's your man of the match and your team rating?
Well, I'm going to make it a full house. Anderson
and 8. Anderson.
I just think Dave Ashby mentioned it, and I spoke a lot to Dave about Anderson. Do you know his work off the ball? Again, what we forget sometimes is it's all right. When you're not watching the game properly, when you're in and out of game, you just watch what happens on the ball. When you're not sort of engrossed by it and looking into it. And this is where Forest were getting caught out when they signed players like Lingard, I suppose, and early in like naivety of being in the Premier League, they were going after these kind of players. And what you get with Anderson, and Steve's made all these points about Man U, which I totally agree with. A lack of desire there. When with Anderson, he's tracking every run. Tracking. It leaves him knackered by the end of it. But he's a proper footballer. And Milenkovic is the same. They're two of a kind. They're the type of players who roll the sleeve up and get stuck in. But it's the work now Forest are doing off the ball. And the only reason I'd say it was an 8, I want to be kind of more sort of generous with it, an 8, and say a bit more. But we weren't actually fantastic on the ball yesterday. We were probably so much better.
Especially first half.
Yeah, we were so much better off the ball in limiting them to opportunities, especially after the hour mark when we went after the second goal, when we went to 3 at the back, their second goal. Because the only real chances they had was Martinez's scissor kick and one other, which were only really half chances anyway. And that's what's the most impressive thing about Forest now. They're not tearing it up in terms of taking it to the opposition and blowing them away. What we have got in is the ability to counter and score a goal at any given opportunity, which is brilliant. And we've got the players that can keep the ball. But we was only probably about a 6.5, 7 out of 10 on the ball. We was probably 9.5 off the ball. And that's what our foundation is built on. You saw the change yesterday or over the last couple of weeks with Williams and Moreno. Moreno's been brilliant. I was one who worried about him coming in, but he was brilliant. He's brilliant attacking. He's not quite the defensive player, though, the player that tracks back in and gets that covering every time. And I think that's what you've got now. You've got players who are absolutely working the socks off. And just to sort of go over Steve's point about why they're doing that, they're doing it because they're winning. It's as simple as that. Because there is moments, we've seen it over the last couple of years. Some of the players that are doing it well now have not done it well over the last couple of years. I'm not going to sort of drop anyone in there. But that's what happens when you play well and you're winning football matches. Your subs are happy, they're not moaning when they're coming off, that kind of thing. And that's where, as a team, we're just a solid Premier League team. And I've been praising teams like Fulham and Brentford, who Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, who have just developed that bit by bit, year on year, just a little bit before us, just a little bit ahead of us. And even though we're higher than Fulham and Bournemouth, I think they're still a bit ahead of us because they've developed into really, really good Premier League sides that, particularly at home, can take the game to the opposition. You've seen today, Fulham have got a point, against Arsenal, and they win most home games. Bournemouth, games like Fulham, games like Spurs midweek, you look at it now and think home win. A couple of years ago, that was a nailed on, and that's where now I just feel Forest have just got to get to. Just so, no, it's not all about home form because the away days are brilliant, as we know, but it's just to get us to that level. We just got to start really dominating teams at home on the ball. But we've got the players now and the tools, and that's why those 3 areas I mentioned, if we get that, I think we're really going places. And
Don't say it, Des. Don't say it. Don't say it. We're not going.
I want to jump on that point that Des really quickly just made home form. Because what's been floated about, and fans are saying and pundits are saying, if you think about it, the teams we've played away up until this point, right? We've got out of the way, away from home. They're going to come to our place now in the new year. Now, if we can get our own form back to the way it was, maybe even under the likes of Cooper days, that fortress again, we can have a lot of say in the title race, and we can cement ourselves in that top 10.
What?
Because
what?
No. Not I'm just saying will it then is disrupting because Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea.
Okay. I thought you meant
no. I mean, for argument's sake, if Arsenal need to come to us and get a 3 points, say, to put pressure on Liverpool, blah blah blah. That's what I mean. They've all got to come to us. Chelsea, Liverpool, all the big ones have got to. United have got to come to our place in the new year. We've played them all away. We've got them out of the way.
They're a mid-table
so if we can get,
they're a mid-table team.
Yeah, but if you're going by if you're going by Dez's logic, then
Dez's logic. I don't know. Listen, I'm disagreeing with that point. They're a mid-table team now. Sorry, Man U. They're a mid-table team.
But you know, all right. I think.
We'll see.
Can I just mention about us, Fulham and Bournemouth as well? I think we are the last of a generation of teams where, when we come up together, I think since then you've had the likes of Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United, now Southampton, Ipswich, and so on struggling. I think us 3 teams are probably the last, I want to say generation. I think you're going to get a lot of teams coming up now and yo-yoing back and down. I think us, Fulham and Bournemouth, have cemented ourselves now in the Premier League. Yeah, okay, we could have a season now where we could be in a lot of trouble and we might slip through the trapdoor. They might. But I think what you're going to find now is if we can cement ourselves now in a top half finish, season upon season. And Des, we talked about this before the Newcastle game, didn't we? About us beating the likes of them beneath, say, 12th, and then beating teams like Newcastle, Villa, Brighton on a more consistent basis, and then we can progress as a club and a team. Because you are right, Des, that Fulham and Bournemouth, and even though Bournemouth went down and Fulham went down, they were in the Premier League a lot longer than we were before. So they are more.
The reason they've got the edge on us at the moment, and I believe they're more developed as an established team, is because they actually bounced back from having the nucleus of a Premier League team.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas we had to go through that stage of rebuilding and the signings, and you're absolutely right, Steve. We are the last of a breed because it was always hard to stay up, but it's impossible now. We got up at exactly the right time in the end. Because it was absolutely impossible. Me and Dore was having a debate on a WhatsApp group with a Leicester fan, and I was making the point: you sack your manager, an actual manager. A real manager? Whatever your thoughts are on Steve Cooper, he's a real manager, and you've put in a novice. He's won 4 games for Man United against Leicester twice.
Just a name.
But they're the naive decisions we were making.
Yeah.
They're the not necessarily on the manager front, but with players and Jesse Lingard, and things like that. Look, we all love that, and I don't blame them for doing that. But it's those things, and now you've got to come to the Premier League, and you've got to be ready and prepared, because it's so tough. Those 3 teams who come up are going down. It's as simple as that. Wolves and Palace will have enough because they've been about long enough to deal with it. I know Leicester got a point today, and they've had a relatively good, well, 4 points from 4, but they're getting battered. They're getting battered, like, game on game, and the luck will run out. And I think that's the best thing about being a Forest fan now, is we can just go to games thinking, do you know what? If we play well, we can beat these.
Yeah.
Things might have to fall into place, but anyone in the league, and at home especially, even though we're having better results on the road against these teams, I think at home you start well. It's that thing about starting with intent and purpose, and that wins like look what happened after the Liverpool game. The confidence grew massively, and then we went on this run where we won games and we drew at Chelsea, and then it slacked off once we got a bad result against Newcastle. Now we use this as a catalyst, and it's amazing when you're seeing players play with confidence. It's not just confidence when they go away, it's confidence when they play football. And what you might see is good performances at home, building to better performances at home. Then the big clubs roll in, and all of a sudden you get the first goal, maybe. You're confident, you're high, you're on it. You get the first goal, and goals change football matches. That's exactly what happened yesterday. And Forest put out the stat, didn't they? I think this is a good thing to mention. Forest put out a tweet today. The admin's working wonders on the Twitter, but they put out a tweet about we're the team that scored most first. This season. And that tells you everything. Goals win football matches. And because you've got, yes, teams come back. You've seen today, and it happens with the lower teams. Teams go 2-0 up and get pegged back. But it's hard work when you're a good side. Like a Fulham. It was hard for Arsenal to come back and win that game once they'd gone 1-0 down. And that's where we are now. And that's why we're moving up. We're not Champions League this year. We're not going too far. We've all still got one eye over our shoulder in reality, haven't we? Thinking what could potentially happen. But I'm really confident that won't happen, and confident that I know we come away from the relegation clubs, but you just pick them off. You pick them off, and you get confident. And before you know it, like now, we've got Villa at home. We actually dispatched them last season. It'd be great to think we could back up Man U, but we know it's going to be a tough game. And then we've got Brentford away, who's in top form. Then you've got Spurs, who are an absolute basket case. Talking about basketball games, that could be anything. It could be 6-0 to Spurs. It could be 4-0 to Forest. It could be 4-4. It's that kind of thing. But the Premier League's tough, and this is why it's so exciting. To think we're established, and that's all we need to believe right now. None of us need to talk about Champions League or relegation or whatever.
You keep talking about it,
in the Premier League.
You keep talking about it, You keep talking about it, not me and Steve. You keep talking about it. So don't bother saying.
We all talk about it because we get excited when we beat Man United away.
I don't care. I've not mentioned it. Steve, did he mention it?
Yeah, he did. He did.
We all mention it though, because that's what being a football fan is, isn't it? We're always looking for that next high. But take what we've got, enjoy this season, and keep drinking your Stella.
But again, Ben, you said about can we dream, and I said to you on the group, I said back it up by beating Villa now, because again, in it there's what we spoke about before the Newcastle game. If we can back it up by beating these teams like Villa, like Newcastle, like these clubs, if we can go and beat Villa Saturday, I know we beat them last year, but if we can back up yesterday with beating Villa, again, that's put our name on the map again and making people's heads turn, because another 3 points on the board on Saturday, again, we're establishing ourselves in that top 8, top 6 even. It's just we're going under the radar. And I mean, even a few of the pundits who said Champions League maybe, and that's just fans saying it. That's through the pundits who saying it. The strangest things have happened.
Don't listen to pundits and don't listen to theirs. That's the main important thing. Don't listen to theirs. Before we do go, I want to see the comment for you, Steve. This one, Chris. Well, Steve, those Roger Hargreaves books look great. I read them all growing up with kids years ago.
Oh, Mr. Men books.
Oh, okay.
My boy yelled them up earlier, Mr. Men.
Oh, unbelievable. All right, then, Steve. All right, Chris, you carry on. Right, I think it's been a great show. Thank you, everyone, very much as well. Thank you for Chris. Steve, thank you for optimistic Des, Champions League thoughts as well and all that. But
I must still be pissed.
it's all that stellar. It's all that stellar, man. But yeah, we won. Thank you very much, Nottingham Forest, for winning at Old Trafford after 30 years. And if you are re-watching this, if you agree with or if you disagree with everything that Des says, please get in the comment section now. Anything that means to you as well, please get involved as well. But yeah, it's been a fantastic win. I'm jolly. I'm happy. Over the moon. And I might do a video this week if you're interested in watching it. But yeah, we've got Aston Villa next. We're 5th in the league. We keep dreaming, and it is what it is. But yeah, Friday, I think I've got a show with, I don't know, someone on Friday, I think. But yeah, if you're new to my channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And people, keep bragging on to all the Manchester United fans, because I'm carrying on doing my bragging because it's not finished yet. I've got another 2 days to brag about it, but I'm happy. Don't be like Des. Be a head case and be sensible with your drinking, because he wasn't yesterday. But yeah, thank everyone for watching. Peace and love. Up the Forest.